So let's kind of cool down the comic relief and just get to business. Now that the festival is over, we'll be putting our main focus on the Cotton Drifting Festival and the curse behind Hinamizawa. Aloha! Welcome to Cyntillating Reviews, and tonight we will be reviewing episode 3 of Higurashi When They Cry 2020. Sorry I'm a day late. I literally just got through with this episode. I wrote down a little bit of the notes that I observed with this episode and just kind of a little bit of observations, because now I can tell you I did notice something that I'm totally wrong on, but we will get to that in just a moment. This episode will be in the style of a podcast, so if you want to minimize my videos while listening to me while doing something else, that is totally fine. I won't be offended. Be forewarned that there is mention of blood and just a little bit of graphic in this episode, and a spoiler alert is now in effect. Upon arrival of this episode, Rika performs and finishes the dance for the festival. We then follow Rena and Keiichi to do the final part of the Cotton Drifting Festival, which is the cotton drifting. And what this cotton drifting tribute kind of does is you thank Oyashiro, and Oyashiro is like the guardian of Hinamizawa. So we observe Rena take a piece of cotton and she pats her head, she pats her chest, which resembles a heart, and she pats her stomach. She thanks Oyashiro and she places the cotton in the water and it just drifts away. After the cotton drifting tribute, Keiichi meets up with Tomitake and he sees that he's talking to somebody, and that somebody is that same woman that we saw during the last episode. Not wanting to interrupt, Keiichi turns back to meet up with the rest of the group. But to us as viewers, we see Rena with that awkward, chill stare again down at Keiichi. The date now is June 20th. Keiichi's at school and he was told by the teacher that he has a visitor. This visitor is a police officer by the name of Oishi or Kurachan, and he's asking Keiichi about the whereabouts of Tomitake and the woman from last night. Keiichi mentions that he met Tomitake talking to the woman, but he didn't interact with them, and the night of the festival was the last time he saw the two. Police officer mentions that they have been missing since the night of the festival, and that's when Oishi asks Keiichi about the curse of Hinamizawa and the different curses that has been placed upon the little village. He starts off by saying 4 years ago, a construction manager of the dam project that was supposed to be built was murdered and dismembered by 6 of its construction workers. Only 5 of the 6 of the construction workers were caught. The main culprit is still missing at large. Then we move into a year later that a man from Hinamizawa was on vacation, but he was swept away by the water. And this man supported the dam project for Hinamizawa, and it was also stated that his wife went missing too. There's been no sign of them ever since. Moving a year later, the priest died suddenly due to illness and his wife drowned herself. Going forward one more year, there was a woman that was beaten to death. And the police officer mentions it's always the day of the Watanagashi festival that these murders happen. It always happens on the same day. It always happens every year. So this is like an annual murder that's been happening every year. Oishi mentioned that the car from Takano, who is the blonde woman that was talking to Tomitake, was still parked the night of the festival, and Tomitake's bike was still left by the tree. The village believes of the Hinamizawa curse. They believe in this curse, and they believe that this curse may have something to do with Tomitake and Takano's disappearance. Before ending the conversation, Oishi tells Keiichi to not tell anybody, including Mion and any of his friends. Keiichi does get a little bit upset of this, and he's wondering if the cop maybe has some suspicions of his friends, but he says no, in a way he just kind of wants to keep it in the dark right now. Getting getting what could probably be the final comic relief that we will get in this arc. The club is playing a card game. Rena loses and she must face the penalty with Keiichi. Even though Keiichi didn't play the game, the penalty is that they must go out and run errands for Mion to pick things up, and these items are just like your average household items. So really they're doing grocery shopping for Mion. Moving forward to June 21st, Mion, Rena, Keiichi, and everybody's at school. While Keiichi tries to take a nap during lunchtime, Mion tells Rena about the missing couple, and she's thinking that they could be demoned away. Now, demoned away could also be known as spirited away. Keiichi meets up with the police officer Oishi again, and Oishi pretty much explains about demons that used to live in Hinamizawa, and they just used to scare people. And what was kind of scary about that is when Keiichi asks, is it like monsters from hell? Oishi's like, no, it's not that. It's people that eat other people. It's cannibalism. That's actually, to me, that's probably the most scariest things. If I had to face off against a random demon from hell or a person that is a cannibal, I would rather face off a demon from hell. Oishi debunks the previous murder cases that, for example, that there were suicide notes from the priest dying from illness and the wife drowning herself, and the woman that was beaten to death, she was beaten by a guy who was just crazed on narcotics. But Oishi did point out that one person always dies and one person always goes missing. So that's just something that we kind of have to keep a watch on. June 23rd, Keiichi and Rena walk home from school, and when Keiichi asks Rena a couple of questions about if she's hiding something from him, Rena turns into a whole complete 180. She just started to become silent. The mood just got really silent. For those that are probably like in a way body sensitive, chills could be going down your spines, the hairs could be standing up on your arms and your neck. It was creepy. It was very, very creepy. And Rena kept asking questions about Keiichi, and she kept saying, well, you never really went to the school office, did you? And she was just trying to debunk Keiichi, and Keiichi is obviously freaked out about this. Returning home, Keiichi's father told him that there was a phone call for him from the bookstore. Well, lo and behold, it's not really the bookstore, it's Oishi, the police officer, and he apologized to Keiichi that he has to say that he's from the bookstore, but because otherwise, you know, things are going to be a little crazy and your parents are going to be all, why is the police calling you? Oishi speaks to Keiichi about Rena after doing a little background on her, and it was found in his notes that she was suspended from her previous school because she was breaking glass from the windows. Discussing it further, Rena is diagnosed with Dysautonomia. Sorry if I said that wrong. And this resulted her to be on medication and to go to therapy. And what was kind of unusual about the notes from the counselor that the police officer was able to get a hold of is that she kept mentioning Oyashiro. Every session she went to, it was always about Oyashiro. And she said that a spirit was staring down at her, standing right next to her pillow while she's laying in bed at night. It was also discovered that the Ryugu family, or Rena's family, were originally from Hinamizawa. And right after Rena finished elementary school, the family moved away from Hinamizawa. So this gives us a confirmation that Rena was previously from Hinamizawa. Before we can get into more further of Rena, Keiichi's father knocks at the door and he tells Keiichi that Rena is here at the house. Keiichi kind of starts freaking out about this and he asks, oh, where in the house? His father says, I pointed her up to your room. So Rena is in Keiichi's house, and he's freaking out about this now because she could have heard everything that was going on between Keiichi and Oishi. This concludes episode 3. So we're finally getting to the nit-grit. So this is just more of a lean on murder mystery that's going on here, and just from the actions that we've seen of Rena, she could have an involvement with Tomitake and Takano's disappearance. Who knows? I mean, there's a couple of things that could change in this series, because like I said, when we met Hanyu last episode, I did not expect her to come in at all. I was like, oh, she came in way too early. I wasn't expecting her to come in. So who knows if the rules are going to change now? Who knows if the rules are going to stay the same? I'm not really sure. And I was actually curious on this diagnosis that Rena has, Dysautonomia. And I thought when the police officer brought the condition up, I thought for whatever reason it was a mental condition, but this is coming from the clevelandclinic.org, and it refers to a group of medical conditions caused by problems with ANS, or the autonomic nervous system. And it's where part of your nervous system involuntarily reacts, such as it'll probably give you a irregular heartbeat, your breathing could be kind of abnormal, and you could have digestion problems. And when the ANS doesn't work the way it should, it causes problems to your heart, your blood pressure, just so on and so forth. And in addition to that, it could also affect your skin temperature, hormonal function, bladder function, sexual functions, and just many other functions. And a person could have this condition by birth, or you could just get it at any time. And it can also occur as a condition due to another disease. And if that's the case, this is called secondary dysautonomia. And an example of diseases in which this condition can occur would be diabetes, muscular sclerosis, Crohn's disease, Lyme disease, HIV. And there's much that actually goes in with this medical condition. If you want to know further about dysautonomia, I'll post a link of what I'm reading down in the description box below. It's kind of interesting, actually. I'm learning just a little bit about this condition. But yeah, if you want to know a little bit of what Rena is going through, I would suggest to read up on this condition. So this episode, we really didn't get the big aha moment, but it's just more so of, okay, now we're just gonna dig in a little bit of exactly what happened the night of the festival. But what I was wrong on, and I will admit I am wrong on it, it was just something I kind of thought about. But at the end credits, we see the calendar date of June 22nd just hanging up on the wall, while the rest of the calendar dates are just on the floor. I thought June 22nd was exactly when all these murders were going to happen, and this craziness is going to happen with Hinamizawa. But no, because at the end of episode 3, we're on June 23rd. So we're already past June 22nd. I'll admit I was wrong there. I thought maybe something would go on, and I thought maybe this is where all the murders were going to occur on June 22nd, but I was totally wrong. Maybe June 22nd is the date of realization. So that's my review of episode 3 of Higurashi When They Cry 2020. Thank you guys so much for stopping in and taking a listen to this review. What do you guys think of this episode? I know we kinda are in a straight line right now, just because nothing is really happening right now. The festival's over, but now we have the disappearance of Tomitake and Takano, but really it's just a little bit of investigation and just the unusual behavior of Rena. If you guys have never seen Higurashi before, what do you guys think might happen? Or for those that have seen Higurashi, what do you think might occur in this next episode that was never brought up before? Let me know in the comments below. Like this video, subscribe to Cyntillating Reviews, help me make it grow. I want to see something come out of this. If you want to be notified for personal videos or all my videos, click that bell down below. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you guys on another day. Our simplest prevention is our biggest protection. Take care of yourselves and others as you practice social distancing, washing hands, and staying at home. Let's get better by starting to make our world better to reduce the spread of COVID-19. See you later on another day.